Continue to follow the high-profile murder trial in Milwaukee. Maxwell Anderson is facing first-degree homicide charges in the death of Sade Robinson. Prosecutors say Anderson killed the 19-year-old after going on a first date with her in April of 2024. The next day, a hiker found Robinson's severed leg at Warnemont Park in Cudahy, and the days and weeks later, more body parts found in both Wisconsin and Illinois. Mallory Anderson joins us live at the Milwaukee County Courthouse complex this morning.
Jaron, this morning for testimony, there's been a mix of different people, a lot of law enforcement who are connected to the investigation in this case, but we've also heard from two of Sade Robinson's friends. One of them is Evelyn Gertz, who does not want to be shown on camera. She took the stand and talked about Robinson's warm personality. She also mentioned how hard it is for her to testify today.
Can you describe Sade's personality?
Very kind, very welcoming, very understanding, very strong, very smart, hardworking, probably just the strongest, kindest, most charismatic person I've ever met.
Is this hard for you today?
Yes.
Another childhood friend of Robinson's took the stand and talked about how she had called police and sent them screenshots of the Life 360 app. That's something that you're able to track people's locations and kind of find out where they are at any given time. From those screenshots, the officers were able to find her phone and track it to Warnemont Park, which was the last place that it pinged around 4 o'clock in the morning after that first date. So details of that exchange plus Evelyn's exchange are in the website right now. We have a reporter's log where we've been logging everything that's happening in court. Also, we talked to our legal analyst, Dan Adams, who says prosecutors are really busy laying out a timeline of what happened the night that Sade Robinson was killed and beyond.
They're going to continue through, I believe, a chronological method of how this whole crisis unfolded. We started with the finding of the severed leg. Again, we know because this was reported in the media before Sade Robinson's disappearance. They found the leg before it became really a missing person case, before it became a homicide investigation. So it appears that the state is going through this chronology of how this whole crisis was borne out.
That was Dan Adams. You can see him talk about this case throughout this week. He's not affiliated with the case, but he joins us live on 12 News this morning at 6:45 every day to help break down each day's developments. So court took a 10-minute break, but it is back in session now. Hannah Hilliard is our reporter in the courtroom right now, and she says that while they were on the record and the jury was out of the room, the prosecution hinted at diving into a search warrant that was executed at Robinson's home. The state is asking to exclude the fact that investigators found THC and 47 suspected meth pills that were never lab tested. The defense really wants this and argues that it's relevant. The judge agreed with the defense, so we will see what comes out of that exchange later this week.
All right, a major development in court this morning. Mallory Anderson there at the courthouse in the courthouse complex for us. Mallory, thank you. Be sure to stay with 12 News. We're following every moment of this trial. We are streaming it live each day online until the jury has reached a verdict.
Maxwell Anderson trial in Milwaukee. Day 3 updates. The highly publicized trial for Maxwell Anderson, the man accused of killing and dismembering Sade Robinson, began in Milwaukee County. Anderson, 34, is charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, hiding a corpse, and arson in the April 2024 death of Robinson, 19, after they went on a first date in Milwaukee. 12 jurors will decide the fate of Anderson. Opening arguments were heard May 28. Day 3 proceedings continued May 29. Watch it below. The Journal Sentinel is also live streaming on its YouTube page and providing live coverage and analysis from the courthouse. Follow below for the latest. Video shows apparent white male leaving scene of car fire. Jury dismissed for day. Jurors reviewed nearby surveillance footage at the time of the car fire, capturing witnesses discovering the fire, which is off camera, before a human figure wearing a backpack walks on screen from the direction of the car fire. The person walks off camera before one of the witnesses is heard saying he did that, and pointing in the person's direction. The witnesses attempt to flag drivers down to contact the fire department. A different surveillance camera captured the subject walking about a block away. Milwaukee Police Detective Casey Donahue testified that the subject appears to be a white male wearing a large tan backpack. Court was adjourned for the day amid Donahue's testimony. Court will resume at 8:45 a.m. May 30th. Most of the day surrounded the car fire of Robinson's 2020 Honda Civic. Authorities testified the fire was intentionally set and the seat was in a position for a taller driver. Robinson was 5 feet tall, while Anderson is 6 feet 1 inch tall. A witness told authorities he witnessed someone throw a lighter into the car from outside of it. Authorities said they recovered a BIC lighter in the car. Read more testimony below. Attention focuses on who last drove Sade Robinson's car. Prosecutors recalled Sheriff's Office Detective Joanne Donner to the stand to speak about an experiment she conducted. After Sade Robinson's dark blue Honda Civic was found burned out at 30th and Lisbon. She testified earlier in the week about the discovery of a human leg along the beach line at Warnament Park. Robinson was 5 feet tall. The driver's seat appeared to have been pulled back, seemingly to accommodate a taller motorist. Maxwell Anderson is 6'1". Donner took 2 detectives who were roughly the same height as Robinson and Anderson to an auto dealership and photographed each of them in the driver's seat of another Honda Civic. The seat was adjusted to match the configuration of Robinson's car when it was discovered after the fire. The shorter deputy was not able to reach the wheel or pedals. Conversely, the taller deputy appeared to be cramped in the driver's compartment when the seat was adjusted to fit a shorter motorist. When questioned by defense attorney Anthony Cotton, Donner said she did not test anyone else of any other height or body type. ATF determined car fire intentionally set after witness statement. Ricky Hankins, special agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, determined an origin and cause of the car fire. Hankins testified his agency could determine the fire started in the interior of the vehicle, not the engine compartment, and was intentionally set. He said 3 factors allowed the agency to reach that conclusion: the discovery of flammable liquid, the fact that Robinson was declared deceased prior to the fire, and a witness statement. Hankins said a witness told authorities he saw a man throw a lighter into the car from outside the vehicle. Authorities recovered a big lighter in the vehicle, but it's undetermined if the lighter had the capability to stay lit without human touch. After the defense argued that the fire department could have moved the driver's seat, Hankins said there would have been evidence of that during his investigation. Clothes, purse apparently belonging to Robinson found in her burned car. Sade Robinson's burned-out vehicle shown during testimony contained the clothing that she was last seen wearing, and the driver's seat was possibly positioned too far away from the wheel for her height. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office Detective Alexis Kruzik testified. The items recovered included a puffy black winter coat, white tennis shoes, and inside-out, light-washed, ripped jeans, with tan underwear over the legs of the jeans. Kruzik said the condition of the clothes suggested somebody was assisting in the removal of the clothes. One of her 2 shoes sustained heavy burn damage. No shirt, sweater, or bra was found in the car, she said. Detectives also found a piece of an iPhone that follows the outline of the phone's 3 camera lenses, Kruzik said, and a purse with a laptop, iPad, notebooks, and pens, as well as a Nicholas Sparks book and documents with Robinson's name on them. Also found in the vehicle was a stuffed animal with the odor of gasoline. Much of the interior of the car was destroyed in the fire. A yellowed bed sheet was found in the trunk, Kruzik said. She also testified to damage to the front of the vehicle. Kruzik testified to photos of a measuring tape showing how far back from the gas pedal the driver's seat would have been if the seat itself had not been burned. In response to questions from the defense attorney, Anthony Cotton, Kruzik said no items tied to Anderson were found in the vehicle. She also said she did not know whether firefighters moved the seat as they were putting out the fire. Kruzik said the exterior of the car was swabbed for DNA. The results of those tests were not immediately clear. Testimony resumes after the lunch break. Focus on burning car. Milwaukee police officer Derek Cold testified he and his partner helped investigate a car fire near North 30th Street and West Lisbon Avenue on April 2nd. The vehicle was the Honda Accord belonging to Sade Robinson, who was the subject of a missing persons report filed by friends. The fire was extinguished by the time Cold and his partner made it to the scene. The interior of the vehicle was burned out. Cold said he was unable to locate any video of the car fire from the surrounding area. Authorities searched Robinson's home after remains found at Warnemont Park. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office Detective Kayla Bjork testified she searched Robinson's Commerce Street apartment on April 3rd. The purpose of that search, she told prosecutors, was to find items that could have Robinson's DNA on them. Authorities wanted to see if that would match with the human leg found at Warnemont Park, which was later confirmed to be hers. Officers recovered cups and a toothbrush, and she later searched a locked pink safe, Bjork said. Inside of it were 47 pills of suspected meth and 18 grams of marijuana, along with $888 in cash, she said during cross-examination. Neither were tested at the Department of Justice's State Crime Lab, and no other drug-related items were found, she said. Whether the drugs found in Robinson's safe would be allowed to be discussed in the trial was the subject of a discussion between the attorneys and Crivello. While the jury was out of the courtroom, defense attorney Cotton argued the drugs could show a possible connection to bad elements in the community. Vance Curzon argued that drugs were irrelevant, but Crivello ultimately agreed with Cotton. It's always a concern when we cut away the truth, whenever we're asked to tailor the evidence, the judge said. Following Sade Robinson's travels, prosecutor Ian Vance Curzon recalled Milwaukee County Sheriff's Deputy Joseph Blanchard. He testified earlier in the week about the discovery of pieces of Sade Robinson's car at a pump house at Warnemont Park on April 2, 2024. Today, Vance Curzon guided him through a series of images showing Robinson leaving her apartment earlier in the same dark-colored Honda Civic as it left the complex and drove away. Prosecutors again seek to establish Robinson's final locations in Milwaukee. Alana Fisher, who described herself as Robinson's best friend since the 4th grade, is the second witness prosecutors have called to the stand to discuss iPhone location data shared between the friends on the trial's 3rd day. Fisher, 21, provided screenshots of Life 360 data to police that showed Robinson traveling through the city the evening of April 1, 2024, and into the early morning hours of April 2nd. As a previous friend also described, Robinson's iPhone last sent a location ping around 4:30 a.m. on April 2nd near Warnemont Park in Cudahy. Fisher's testimony comes after a police detective broke down Robinson's routes on the trial's 2nd day. Friend testifies about last location of Robinson's iPhone. A friend who worked with Robinson at the Wisconsin club testified that when she learned Robinson was reported missing, she checked her Find My iPhone app for Robinson's location. It showed that the last location of Robinson's phone was Warnemont Park in Cudahy. It had not updated since at 4 a.m., sometime after she went missing, the friend testified, and the friend presumed that Robinson's phone had died. The friend, who prosecutors asked news media not to identify, said she and Robinson were servers at the Wisconsin club, and they spent time doing homework together. The friend could access the location of Robinson and several other people through her location-sharing iPhone app at all times. She was the strongest, kindest, most charismatic person I've ever met, the friend said. The friend also testified that she helped Robinson set up profiles on 2 dating apps, Tinder and Hinge. The third day of Maxwell Anderson's trial begins. The third day of the Maxwell Anderson trial kicked off shortly after 9 a.m. It is opening with Deputy District Attorney Megan Newport questioning Milwaukee Police Department Detective Nora Donegan. Donegan searched Robinson's apartment for a welfare check after she was reported missing on April 2nd. She described it as a typical college student's home, with numerous purses and clothes in the studio apartment. The detective said there was nothing in the apartment that suggested something suspicious happened to her. Day 2 revolved around the location of Sade Robinson's phone. Judge Laura Crivello dismissed the jury for the day at 4:48 p.m. May 28th. Jurors were told to not discuss the case or review materials while at home. Court readjourns at 8:45 a.m. May 29th. Day 2 largely revolved around the location of Sade Robinson's phone in the early morning hours of April 2nd, 2024. Some grainy surveillance footage of a dark sedan near Warnemont Park in Cudahy was also shared with jurors, as well as darkened, shadowy images of a human figure walking among the trees at the park. Day 2 revolved around the location of Sade Robinson's phone. Judge Laura Crivello dismissed the jury for the day at 4:48 p.m. May 28th. Jurors were told to not discuss the case or review materials while at home. Court readjourns at 8:45 a.m. May 29th. Day 2 largely revolved around the location of Sade Robinson's phone in the early morning hours of April 2nd, 2024. Some grainy surveillance footage of a dark sedan near Warnemont Park in Cudahy was also shared with jurors, as well as darkened, shadowy images of a human figure walking among the trees at the park. Who is Maxwell Anderson? Prosecutors say Maxwell Anderson, 34, went on a first date with Sade Robinson before killing and dismembering her, and then disposing of her body parts across the area. Anderson was arrested 2 days after Robinson was declared missing, and the first of her body parts were found. Law enforcement pulled over Anderson the afternoon of April 4, 2024, in his car and arrested him blocks from his Milwaukee home. A hooded sweatshirt found in his car matched the hoodie of the suspect, who set ablaze to Robinson's car the morning that Robinson was declared missing, according to prosecutors. He has been in jail since April 2024 on $5 million bond. Anderson faces 4 charges: first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, arson, and the recently added charge, on May 27th, of hiding a corpse. He is facing a mandatory life sentence if convicted of the homicide charge. Anderson, who had a lengthy criminal history before his arrest in April 2024, has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Who is Sade Robinson? Sade Robinson was a 19-year-old student at Milwaukee area technical college who prosecutors say was killed at the hands of Maxwell Anderson. Several of her body parts have been found across the area, and later, an arm belonging to Robinson washed up on a beach in Waukegan, Illinois. The first body part, a severed leg later identified as Robinson's, was found in Warnemont Park. Robinson was last seen with Anderson after they went on a date in Milwaukee on April 1st, 2024. Her phone was located by GPS in the area of his home, and then later tracked through Milwaukee County and to Warnemont Park, before it lost battery overnight, according to the criminal complaint. Robinson was reported missing after she failed to return phone calls and did not show up for work the next day. Robinson worked at Pizza Shuttle, 1827 N Farwell Avenue, on Milwaukee's east side. A memorial was set up at the restaurant. Family and friends of Robinson have raised thousands of dollars for a privately funded memorial in her honor. Before she was killed, Robinson was a month away from earning an associate's degree in criminal justice.